Assalamualaikum and hi to Madam Irwana. My name is Nona Najwa binti Rosli. My team members are Nur Hazira Shaza binti Nazli Sham, Nur Nadira Hafiza binti Shahrul Nazli, Nurul Shazwani binti Shafi'i, and Nik Nur Adriani Medina binti Nik Asmantua. So today we would like to present about our topic, which is the independence of Timor-Leste. The Democratic of Timor-Leste, or known as East Timor, is an island country that was located in Southeast Asia. Timor-Leste was colonized by the Portuguese during the 16th century, but in 1975, the Portuguese suddenly stopped the colonization against Timor-Leste, and Timor-Leste decided to declare its independence on 28 November 1975. But Indonesian forces came to Timor-Leste after 9 days of the declaration. Then, the agreement on the independence referendum under the United Nation was made, and Timor-Leste can choose whether to be under Indonesia or get independent. Most people vote for the independence of Timor-Leste in August 1999. Finally, Timor-Leste was known as an independent nation on 20 May 2002. Timor-Leste chooses to leave Indonesia because of the continuous conflict, controversy, allegations and evidence of human rights abuse by Indonesian forces and so on. Next, the parties involved in the independence of Timor-Leste are Fretilin, UDT and Kota. Fretilin is a party of national independence that led to the declaration of independence for Timor-Leste on 28 November 1975, but it is only in a short time. Next, União Democrática de Timor (UDT) decided to cooperate with Fretilin because both of the parties agreed that Timor-Leste should gain independence. Lastly, Kota Party's purpose was to protect the Timorese culture and traditions during the colonial era. In March 2011, Timor-Leste applied to be a member of ASEAN, but it is still not accepted by the ASEAN yet. Then, Timor-Leste put a lot of efforts to be qualified in becoming a member of ASEAN. But until now, Timor-Leste still does not gain status as members of ASEAN despite its efforts. The UN-sponsored referendum that was managed by United Nations is the reason for independence for Timor-Leste, in which more than 78.5% of people vote for independence. Thus, the United Nations responsible to ensure the peace of Timor-Leste until it becomes fully independent. This referendum occurred because of the resignation of Indonesian President Suharto. Then, B.J. Habibie replaced President Suharto and made an agreement and let Timor-Leste choose whether they want to be under Indonesia or reach independence. Next, Timor-Leste was lack of participation in the island's administration, even though they are a province of Indonesia. The Indonesian government put a limit on the participation of Timorese. This causes unfair treatment for Timorese and causes them to choose to be independent and free from Indonesia. Lastly, the Carnation Revolution happened in Portugal that causes Portugal to leave Timor-Leste. Carnation Revolution is the power of a government that favours democracy and decolonization. Thus, Portugal had to leave Timor-Leste. The Carnation Revolution that occurred in Portugal is one of the factors that led to the independence of Timor-Leste, but only in a short time after the Indonesian military came.
By May 2002, over 205,000 refugees had returned. 20 May 2002, where the constitutions of the Democratic Republic of East Timor had come in by force and East Timor was recognized as independent by the United Nations. In November 1991 has brought the daily massive renewed international recognitions to East Timor and international unpopularity of Indonesian regulations. The extreme impact of Asian financial crisis from late 1997 on Indonesia and Suharto became the end of the system in May 1998. They opened a new possibility for a status review of East Timor. Moreover, during 27 January 1991, Indonesian government take part by President Habibie has made an announcement official approach where they changed to now they could accept the chances of independence if the East Timor people wanted to choose this kind of way, and their decision was validated by Indonesian Parliament. Furthermore, it can be beneficial to Indonesia once they accept East Timor for independence. Certain groups or individuals might have some laws on particular economic interests and continue integrations with Indonesia gains advantage. Dr. George Adijondro has declared that some of powerful civilian and military figures, also including those members in the family of former President Suharto, have the large-scale interests in terms of economic with East Timor. With these interests, he has declared include over 500,000 hectares of land including timber and sugar plantation, marble deposit, textiles, tourists and also oil. Dr. George Adijondro said, and he already made it clear once Timor become independent state that it will cease. Timor-Leste would rather reduce their decision-making on power of its current members. The reason is because consensus will need to be reached by 11 instead of 10 countries. The decision can become more hard for Timor-Leste to reach, and ASEAN might little bit of its dynamics. This will become a bigger concern if Timor-Leste can motivate and build up the Asian membership inspirations of Papua New Guinea. Timor-Leste may supply some limited opportunities from other ASEAN countries and other for their investors. A young state normally offers many kinds of opportunities, but as a market in an island country would not have that much to give within a free trade area with the population of 1.2 million. The economy can benefit as they are being a part of ASEAN can likely to be great for Timor-Leste. They can easily access to a market for about 600 million people by providing it. This will give an opportunity to the Timor-Leste economy and make it more developed members. Timor-Leste will also have to face some few challenges where it will get low-cost imports of Asian products and services. Shell industry will make it more hard to develop. Timor-Leste has made a great process through the 12 years of the independence, and this will encourage other Asian countries, especially in the Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar and also Vietnam. Timor-Leste is prepared to be a good example and creativity for other people in the region in regards to democracy, human rights and also media freedom, which are some kinds of areas that very far to be seen and only very stable for improvement in ASEAN. ASEAN international standing, once if they feel welcome Timor-Leste in ASEAN, could damage the image in the organizations. They could be taught as a not transparent, small and also needy states.
The case of Timor-Leste membership admission to ASEAN previous the issue of ASEAN's legal framework itself, to which may be in conflict with its own advocacy of determined to transform from an informal organization to a rules-based organization. This causes an ongoing secession of Timor-Leste that has no end until today. It is known that in the establishment of ASEAN in 1967, the first 5 members, Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines and Singapore, agreed to Bangkok Declaration, or also known as ASEAN Declaration. Then, the constituent instrument of ASEAN is shifted to an ASEAN Charter, which was enacted in 2007. The Charter has made the admission of a new member more difficult with the additional requirements laid out in Article 6 of the Charter that states location in the recognized geographical region of Southeast Asia, recognition by all ASEAN member states, agreement to be bound and abide by the Charter, and ability and willingness to carry out the obligation of membership. While the first 3 requirements are met, the latest are still in process of Timor-Leste being required, which is the willingness and being able to carry out obligations. All member states support Timor-Leste's admission, and it comes without full assurance stating that Timor-Leste is still lacking in economic capability and human resources, as its human capital index was listed at the lowest among all the ASEAN members. In the assessing of Timor-Leste's readiness to become a member state, ASEAN has formed ASEAN Coordinating Council Working Group, the ACCWG. As Timor-Leste has taken initiatives particularly in the economic aspect to prepare its accession, the ACCWG funded ASEAN Development Bank to provide technical assistance that basically works in aligning the ASEAN legal instruments and ASEAN Community Blueprint. The study shows that by 2015, Timor-Leste has only increased 1.6% binding its legal framework with ASEAN's agreement, while it was targeted to be fully compliant with the increase of 50% by June 2018. Therefore, it shows the lack of capacity of Timor-Leste in carrying out the membership obligations. Another factor that influenced the prolonging of Timor-Leste's membership admission is the fear of possible foreign influence. It is important to be noted that China, as one of the first countries to recognize Timor-Leste, has been sending help and assistance towards Timor-Leste since its independence that includes mostly infrastructure, military and government facilities. The improvement in economy and human resources is needed by Timor-Leste in securing its possibility to become a member of ASEAN. In achieving this, it is impossible for Timor-Leste without any help. This could be problematic to ASEAN that the acceptation would mean that China may influence Timor-Leste's decision in ASEAN, thus hampering the consensus of decision-making process. Although the requisites of membership application have been described under the ASEAN Charter, the rules of political consideration is inevitable to be weighed in upon the case of one's accession into ASEAN. This goes to Timor-Leste as well, to which affect the consensus in admitting the new member and would unable to be achieved due to objections by several member states that expressing concerns of Timor-Leste's capacity in carrying out obligations of membership. Singapore has been the most reluctant to endorse with the basis of economic reasoning, to which it views Timor-Leste as having the possibility to burden ASEAN. Thus, the consensus to Timor-Leste's admission into ASEAN is the final step that must be taken to decide whether it shall be done or not. It has taken great strides in ensuring the readiness of Timor-Leste to become ASEAN's 11th member state. The decision lies in ASEAN's hand, and if some member states remain resistant to accepting Timor-Leste, ASEAN as a regional bloc owes an explanation to Timor-Leste.
Now, let's move to the solution that ASEAN do in solving the issues for Timor-Leste to join ASEAN. Timor-Leste has got many supports from some of ASEAN countries that want Timor-Leste to be the new member of ASEAN. Firstly, one of the countries that shows the support is Cambodia. In June 2019, Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen expressed his country's support for Timor-Leste to become the 11th member of ASEAN ahead of a meeting with Timor-Leste Minister of Foreign Affairs Dionisio Babu. He stated that he believed Timor-Leste are eligible to join the regional bloc as he had visited the countries before. Mr. Hun Sen also said to not overlook the efforts of Timor-Leste to improve its human resources, just like other countries does to develop theirs. During the meeting with Mr. Dionisio, he quoted that we should join together to expand the economic activities, cultural cooperation, tourism, and more. Besides Cambodia, Brunei also shows strong support towards Timor-Leste, where they have given assurance to support the country's bid to join ASEAN, which Timor-Leste hoped to happen sooner. Mr. Dionisio said that he got the assurance from His Majesty, the Sultan of Brunei himself. Since Thailand took over the chairmanship of the associations in 2019, Timor-Leste Foreign Affairs Minister Dionisio noted that a fact-finding mission has been formed to visit their country in September to determine their readiness in joining the associations. Other than Cambodia and Brunei, Malaysia also consistent in showing the country's support to Timor-Leste as a new member since the country is located within Southeast Asia. The Malaysia Foreign Minister Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah informed to Minister Dionisio that Malaysia always consistent in its stance to support Timor-Leste admissions to join ASEAN ever since the country submitted its applications in 2011 during the meeting with Minister Dionisio at Putrajaya. Malaysia was Timor-Leste's 6th largest commercial partner, 9th largest export destinations, and 10th largest export-import destinations in 2018. Similar support was expressed by Indonesia's Foreign Minister Retno Marsudi in the same month during the plenary sessions of the ASEAN Ministerial Meeting in Bangkok, Thailand, where she explained that Indonesian support has been expressed many times even since the beginning, not only on political sense, but including through various assistance schemes to prepare and improve Timor-Leste capacity to meet the requirements in joining the association. The ASEAN Political Security Community Fact-Finding Missions APSC-FFM has visited Timor-Leste from 3rd to 6 September 2019 as part of the assessment of Timor-Leste's readiness to join ASEAN. The APSC-FFM is the first of 3 fact-finding missions from ASEAN to visit Timor-Leste. The parties involved discussed subjects such as Timor-Leste foreign policy, legal changes and national development plan, as well as the responsibilities that come with joining ASEAN under the APSC pillar. The other two pillars of ASEAN expected to come soon in 2020. However, due to health crisis and numerous constraints imposed by most nations, notable in regard to movement restrictions and border closures, there is still no precise date for them to travel to Timor-Leste for fact-finding missions.
In ensuring Timor-Leste to be one of the developed countries, first, ASEAN should help them in restoring and reviving their economic stability. This is because economic development is one of the important elements that lead to the growth of the country. ASEAN should help Timor-Leste in mobilizing the available macro, structural policy tools and also financial. Currently, Timor-Leste heavily relies on the exploitation of their oil and gas, but the resources are running out quickly and they need to diversify the economy. If Timor-Leste get the opportunity to join ASEAN, we can see that there will be a rapid development and opportunities for the growth and investment of the country. Besides that, ASEAN can help and guide Timor-Leste in establishing new laws, regulations and policies. This is because all of these aspects need to be improvised to reduce conflicts, risk of instability and to provide a clear path in solving the past and future disagreement. 19 years after the independence of Timor-Leste from Indonesia, the country is still having the issue of lacking in the legal basis in determining the land ownership. At the time of independence, have resulted in a variety of challenges including landlessness and forced displacement. Most Timorese in the countryside access and hold land through customary and informal system. Only a minority of the Timorese obtained the land through formal process during the Portuguese and Indonesia control. Moreover, ASEAN can help Timor-Leste in developing a plan to improve the infrastructure in the country, such as buildings, road transportation system, communication network and also power supplies. Based on the report by the United Nations Development Programme in July 2020, currently Timor-Leste is the list of top 10 poorest countries in the world and they are ranked on number 152 out of 162 countries listed. A better infrastructure in a country can lead to a better progress in producing more skilled and talented human capital because it will give better opportunities for health, education, and employment infrastructure to be developed. The Timorese will have a better lifestyle and the poverty rate in the country will also decrease. Lastly, Timor-Leste should cooperate with ASEAN and United Nations to create a plan that will strengthen the country's security. This is to ensure the peace, safety and prevent conflicts that can affect the stability of the nation. ASEAN and United Nations can create or expand their mission to help Timor-Leste in ensuring the safety of the people, property and public in that country. To avoid any conflict arises between the attitude and mentality of the people, prevention and management need to be implemented in order to develop respect among the people towards the differences in the democratic society. As a least developed country, Timor-Leste should receive protection and security to avoid any global terrorism attack. In conclusion, despite all the challenges that Timor-Leste faced between the democracy and development of the country, it shows that Timor-Leste has given all their commitment and effort in becoming a member of ASEAN, even the application has been rejected. However, it takes a long journey as well to develop and ensure the success of the country. Timor-Leste should not give up. Instead, the country should be more tenacious in improving the country's stability and growth in order to become a member of ASEAN. The admission of Timor-Leste to ASEAN not only signifies the country's position in the regional and global order, but it is also helped to secure the small young nation from any terrorism attack.